Caracas, Venezuela has almost no crime. Next year, I'm going to suggest that the Economic Club hold its meeting in Caracas because we'll be safer than we are in our country if they win. We'll be far safer.
Now just think about how stupid you have to be to say that. Then think about how stupid you have to be to clap for that.
Remember when Trump tested out this absurdly false and bigoted talking point while speaking to a room full of New York's richest people? Well, a lot has happened since then with a ton of misinformation about immigrant communities spreading like wildfire and anti-immigrant xenophobia and racism reaching a fever pitch. Which brings us to one of the key architects that laid the groundwork for the hostility to fester, grow, and become so normalized over the years that the Dems have conceded the entire issue to the Republicans. That person is this monster, Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller primarily has been targeting families from Africa, families from Latin America, and mostly people who have broken no laws, asylum seekers, refugees, restricting green card access. For Stephen Miller, this is not about national security. This is not about keeping out criminals. This is about re-engineering the ethnic flows into this country to keep brown and black families out.
At one point, Stephen Miller recommends that they do a story about this book called Camp of the Saints. It's an incredibly racist book that depicts the end of the white world. That's how they put it, the quote, end of the white world, as a result of an invasion of refugees. And it's filled with extremely degrading descriptions of migrants.
Author and reporter Jean Guerrero, who wrote a whole book on Miller's white nationalist worldview and the disastrous effects it has on the groups it targets, has been sounding the alarm for years about the sinister roots of Miller's views on immigrants and immigration, calling out Miller for who he truly is. So let's introduce you to another media member willing to take on Miller's disgusting beliefs head on. Say hello to José María Del Pino, a Chilean journalist, reporter, and Washington, D.C. political correspondent for Colombian news outlet NTN24 and Chilean outlet T13. While in the spin room after the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, Del Pino confronted Miller about Trump's claim about Venezuela's crime rate and how he is weaponizing his base against anyone who they perceive to be an immigrant. And things went off the rails almost immediately.
The crime rate in Venezuela is down, I believe, a little bit over 60% over the last several years.
Are you trusting the official figures from the Venezuelan dictatorship?
Let's put it this way. If you're a dictator of a poor country with a high crime rate, wouldn't you send your criminals to our open border?
That wasn't my question. Are you trusting the figures of the dictatorships? Those are Maduro numbers.
I am believing that it is in the interest of a criminal dictator to let his criminals out of their jails and come to our country.
This is precisely why it's so important for media members to hold these people accountable for the lies they're spreading in real time. Miller knows he has no evidence to back up his outlandish claims, so he has to resort to anecdotes and stereotypes to make his argument.
The facts are the dead bodies. The facts are...
You said that Caracas has a lowest crime rate than the USA.
The facts are the mutilated bodies. The facts are the people in the morgues that are dead.
I was asking you about Caracas and the numbers in Caracas. Are you trusting the numbers of the dictatorship?
I am trusting the fact that Kamala Harris is letting illegal immigrants into this country who are raping and murdering children.
I had been very respectful. Why are you yelling?
Do you know?
Miller is yelling because he relies entirely on playing into the racism and xenophobia already present in Trump's voter base to stoke fear and paranoia. And he knows all too well that they will believe and parrot whatever he says.
I trust a ruthless dictator will empty his prisons and send their criminals to our country.
So you trust his numbers?
The most dangerous gang in Venezuela is
now... You trust Nicolás Maduro?
I trust that he does not want his criminals to be...
So you believe in his numbers?
I believe he's sending his criminals to our country. Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not? Yes or no?
What
Yes or
are
no?
the figures
Yes or no?
that you
Yes
say
or no?
to say
Yes
that
or no?
in Caracas
Yes or
the
no?
number is
Are
lower than in the
Venezuelan gangs-
USA?
Are Venezuelan gangs in this country or not?
So you don't have numbers.
Del Pino deserves so much credit for calmly dealing with Miller and cornering him with a question he knows Miller cannot answer, leading him to absolutely explode.
Trust Maduro numbers.
I trust the border agents in our country.
And
I
they are
hope
not
that
saying
you
that
have the
Caracas has a
fundamental-
lower crime rate.
Children are dead, and you are wasting my time.
No, I am not wasting
Children
your
are
time.
being raped.
I'm asking
Do you
for
have
facts
any
as a
remorse
journalist.
do you have any remorse for the dead children? Do you care at all about the dead children?
Absolutely.
Then that's what I want to leave you with, is that Donald Trump
I
will
was
come
just
to
asking
office.
for figures.
Miller would not provide any figures to back up his claims and would continue screaming at Del Pino before going into a tirade about his white nativist immigration policy that will save children's lives, kick out gangs from public schools, and asserting that Harris is, quote, condemning our children to a life of misery, suffering, and death. This is what happens when the media knows how to do their job and is not afraid to meet these people where they want to fight. Del Pino, however, would provide evidence that even though Venezuela's homicide rate has been decreasing in recent years, it's still 4 times higher than the state's homicide rate. Even the United States Customs and Border Protection, whose sole purpose is to be hostile toward anyone who isn't an American citizen, shows that the amount of homicide and manslaughter convictions against undocumented immigrants is nowhere near the per capita rate of the total U.S. population and is in fact significantly lower than the 6.3% Del Pino cited. CBP reports that so far this year, they've had around 2.6 million encounters with undocumented immigrants. So even if all of those convicted undocumented immigrants committed their crimes only against other undocumented immigrants, the rate per 100,000 is at a whopping 0.096%, less than 1%. And expanded out to the whole population of the country, the rate is so astronomically low that it's not even worth mentioning. The fact of the matter is that undocumented immigrants have been unfairly and cruelly targeted for an issue they have had a negligible effect on and have even outperformed other communities. And even though every single one of these deaths are tragic and should never, ever happen, blaming their occurrences solely on the fact that the perpetrators were undocumented immigrants and almost certainly not white says all you need to know about Donald Trump's and the Republican Party's manufactured panic surrounding immigration. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
What he does, he secretly puts the marker on the end of the putter, and then he looks like he's marking it, but really, now the mark is 3 feet closer. That's a way easier putt.
He cheats a lot. That if you cheat at golf, you cheat at life. The saying goes for Donald Trump.